Every good alternate version of Ben explained, how many Ben 10,000s exist? Does every future Ben become Ben 10,000? How many aliens does Ben Prime currently have? Does Gwen 10 have a combination of the Omnitrix, magic, and anodite powers in the Gwen 10 alternate universe?
I'm in.
In today's video, we are going to dive deep into the multiverse and explore and explain every good alternate version of Ben Tennyson. So buckle up and get ready for an out-of-this-world ride. As we proceed, keep in mind that according to Paradox, almost every Ben had a similar life experience up to the age of 10 when they all found the Omnitrix. In other words, every Ben had a similar experience to Ben from the original series, except for a few exceptions like No Watch Ben and Ben from the Gwen 10 universe.
Every Ben Tennyson throughout space and time has had his fate intertwined with that of the Omnitrix. You, however, have not.
Moving forward, we shall call the Ben from the original series as Ben Prime. Finding the Omnitrix vastly changed the path of every Ben that has ever existed, and we shall explore how extensive that change is in every character. We are going to start by looking at all the versions of Ben 10,000. After that, we shall consider the other Bens based on relevance and continuity, and then end with alternate Bens from the Reboot continuity. Firstly, we are going to look at all the versions of Ben 10,000. We start with original series Ben 10,000. The first good alternate version of Ben we'll look at is Ben 10,000, the future version of Ben from the original series. He is a mature and experienced hero who has mastered the Omnitrix and unlocked all of its aliens. He can even fuse them together to create new hybrids. He leads the plumbers and has a son named Ken, who also has an Omnitrix. He is a very serious and strict character, but he still cares for his family and friends. He first appeared in the episode Ben 10,000, where he met his younger self and learned to be more relaxed. Next up is Ultimate Alien Ben 10,000. Ben 10,000 from Ultimate Alien Ben 10,000 exists in a separate dimension or timeline within the franchise's classic continuity. This version of Ben 10,000 is more laid back and chill compared to the other Ben 10,000 from the alternate timeline. He loves making jokes, even during battles, and tends to get full of himself. He is more similar to Ben Prime in terms of his personality. In this timeline, Ben 10,000 has had many more adventures than his 16-year-old self. He gained additional powers and learned how to use some magic in his human form from his cousin Gwen. He also unlocked an ultimate form for his human self called Ultimate Ben, which allows him to access the powers of his aliens without physically transforming into them.
Thought I'd step outside. Jet ray!
Next up is Ben 10,000 from Omniverse with Omnitrix. This Ben 10,000 from the Omniverse series enjoys making jokes too. He developed a dual Omnitrix system called the Omnitrix, which allows him to fuse any two aliens from the Omnitrix database. He also participated in the Time War and accidentally cut off Professor Paradox's right arm during the conflict. Ben 10,000 has access to the Omnitrix and later the Omnitrix, allowing him to transform into any of his aliens at will. With the Omnitrix, he can fuse two aliens together for enhanced powers. We saw this ability being used in Omniverse Season 6, Episode 1, where Ben 10,000 transformed into a fusion of four arms and Humungosaur called Four-Mungosaur. He is physically strong and can easily defend himself in combat without heavily relying on his transformations. Next up is Ben 10,000 from the Reboot continuity. In the alternate timeline or dimension within the Reboot series, we encounter a unique version of Ben 10,000. Initially, he sported an overweight build and a full beard, but later underwent a transformation, emerging as a fit and clean-shaven hero clad in a striking green jacket adorned with white stripes and the iconic number 10. This version of Ben 10,000 had been disconnected from his family for an extended period, resulting in a sense of isolation that seemed to have taken a toll on his sanity. However, a fateful reunion with his younger self, beloved family, and former adversaries turned allies sparked a rejuvenation within him. Regaining his lost confidence, he made the resolute decision to return to his heroic calling on a full-time basis. Within the timeline he inhabits, Ben 10,000 faced a harrowing invasion of Earth orchestrated by the menacing Zurge, an invasive species. Despite having distanced himself from his family for numerous years, he emerged from seclusion to confront and repel this formidable threat. However, the prolonged period of isolation had taken its toll, causing Ben 10,000 to lose some of his fighting prowess and physical conditioning. His age and poor physical state led to occasional bouts of back pain. Eon is another older version of Ben who ended up being evil and does not seem to have an Omnitrix nor 10,000 transformations. We already explored the life of every evil version of Ben Tennyson in another video. The link is in the description below. Next up is No Watch Ben. Ben leads a normal and simple life without any extraordinary adventures. He becomes bored with the routine in Bellwood and desires some excitement and adventure. In the alternate reality of Ben never found the Omnitrix, and instead, he relies on his intelligence, resourcefulness, and martial arts skills to get by. Though lacking alien transformations, No Watch Ben proves that even without superpowers, bravery and determination can make a hero. In Omniverse, he worked with Paradox to resort all the alternate timelines, and he defeated Vilgax in the process. Momentarily, he even used the Omnitrix he obtained from Ben Prime, but gave it back later on. Next up is Ben from the Gwen 10 dimension. This dimension has a 10-year-old Ben who does have an Omnitrix, but his behavior and mannerisms stay the same as Ben Prime. There is very little information about this Ben, and it has caused many people to speculate about whether this Ben has anodyte powers or not. Does this Ben end up learning magic skills like Gwen did, or does he end up developing anodyte powers in the future? Does Gwen 10 have a combination of the Omnitrix, magic, and anodyte powers in this universe? Most online forums suggest that Gwen may actually have all these powers while Ben gets to pick up some hand-to-hand combat skills, as we have seen in the case of No Watch Ben and that of Eon's servants. Others speculate that Ben may be the one to actually develop the anodyte powers. We hope the writers will officially answer these questions in any future projects. Even a comic book to explain all this would be enough. Gwen 10 made an appearance in the original series and in Omniverse, where she worked with other Bens to fight against the alliance of the evil Bens and Vilgax. Next up is Ben 23. The next good alternate version of Ben is Ben 23, the version of Ben from Dimension 23, a parallel universe where Ben got the Omnitrix, but never learned how to use it in the best way possible because he didn't have Grand PA Max to help him. He is 13 years old. He is a famous celebrity who uses his fame and fortune to help people, but he is also very arrogant and selfish. He names his aliens by giving the silly, goofy names, such as Freeze Lizard, Electriciety, and Vomit Man. He doesn't know much about the Omnitrix or the aliens he transforms into, and he often abuses his power for personal gain. He first appeared in the episode Store 23 Inches, where he met Ben Prime and learned to be more responsible. His mannerism and view of the wood is more similar to that of 10-year-old Ben from the original series than Ben Prime from Omniverse. Next up is Alien Force Ben Omniverse Ben. Slightly different appearances compared to their reboot counterparts, Alien Force Ben and Omniverse Ben are both teenage Bens. While there are speculations about their differences in personality, we shall assume they are one. Alien Force Ben from Ben 10, Alien Force, and Omniverse Ben from Ben 10. Omniverse both exhibit heroic traits and self-sacrifice. Omniverse Ben may come off as a bit more childish or playful compared to Alien Force Ben. He tries to be friendly to his younger counterparts, especially with Ben 23. By Season 2 of Omniverse, Ben revealed that he had more than 70 aliens at the time. That's a very long way for him to get to 10,000.
Is that all the aliens you got?
It used to be 10. Now I have more than 70.
Next up is Race Against Time Ben. Moving on to another alternate dimension, we have Ben Tennyson from the Race Against Time timeline. In this version, Ben uses the Omnitrix to fight against the villain Eon and save the world. Ben is shown to be immature at times, but cares deeply for his family. We are now going to briefly look at the alternate versions from the 2016 Reboot. We are going to start with the main reboot Ben, or Ben Dimension, 27,998.3. Now, let's explore an alternate dimension within the reboot continuity. In this dimension, Ben Tennyson is also 10 years old and possesses the Omnitrix, but with a unique design. Introducing Reboot Ben from Dimension 27,998.3. Reboot Ben's Omnitrix design differs from the main timeline version, featuring white tubes facing the left side and a black square. This alternate version of Ben had his summer vacation interrupted by an encounter with Alien X. Though he lost the Omnitrix during the battle, his bravery and determination remain unmatched. Later on, he regained his Omnitrix. Next up is Maximilian Ben. Our next alternate version of Ben Tennyson hails from the Maximilian dimension. In this dimension, Ben is 16 years old and has a similar appearance to his Omniverse counterpart. Let's call him Maximilian Ben. Maximilian Ben's journey took place in the episode Alien Extinction. He bravely faced Alien X, but unfortunately, his journey ended tragically when Alien X defeated and killed him. Maximilian Ben showcased his courage and determination, leaving a lasting impact on others. Next up is Ben from Dimension 12,041.5. Benjamin Ben Kirby Tennyson is an alternate version of Ben from Dimension 12,041.5 in the reboot continuity. He appears in the episode Alien Extinction. This 10-year-old Ben possesses the Omnitrix, but it has a slightly different design from that of Ben from Dimension 27,998.3. He appears identical to the version from Dimension 27,998.3. In the episode, Ben and Max are camping when they are attacked by Alien X, who takes Ben's Omnitrix. There is hope that he may regain it in the future. Each alternate version of Ben brings a unique twist to the story, showcasing different personalities, powers, and adventures. The Ben 10 franchise is a rich multiverse filled with exciting possibilities.